Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coast News. And as always, we've got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, the first ever track sections for Project Exodus have been delivered to Thorpe Park. And this is honestly just a huge milestone for this brand new attraction. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Project Exodus is a brand new roller coaster opening at Thorpe Park, located in Surrey, England, in spring 2024. It is a hypercoaster built by Mack Rides, and upon opening, it's going to take the title of the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster. It's going to reach a maximum height of 236 foot tall, and I don't think the maximum speed is confirmed, but it's rumored to be. It's obviously got to be the current fastest coaster in the UK, which is Stealth, also at Thorpe Park, so at least 81 miles an hour. And that is just going to be mental. That is mental to think that we're getting a ride of this scale. That's the first time since 2006. The last time we got a coaster over 200 foot and over 80 miles an hour was also a Stealth at Thorpe Park. And the last coaster over 200 foot before that was the big one at Blackpool Place, which is only two coasters at the moment in the UK that are currently operating over 200 foot tall. And obviously we need to seriously pick up the pace with building hypercoasters, because if you look at like America, they've got so many hypercoasters. They've got a lot of giga coasters as well. They've even got some strata coasters. So I think the UK definitely needs to start probably building a lot more, bigger scale rides. But obviously this was first announced back in 2021. They went through all the planning phases. There was some delay in the planning phase because of environmental issues, but they were resolved in late 2022. They started construction at the very end of that season. They've been building ever since. They've been doing mainly groundwork since then. But obviously at the start of the season, ground pins for the footers arrived. Then a few months ago, the new supports for the ride arrived on site. And then yesterday, the first ever track sections, 4 track sections have arrived on site. There's 3 goals sections, which are going to be located in the lower part of the ride. And then there's 1 track section, which is part of the lift hill, which is painted white. And that's going to go onto the part of the lift hill. And apparently that 1 track section alone weighs over 6 tons. That is a fun fact, by the way. And obviously it's going to be absolutely mental that the tracks have arrived. I don't know when they're going to start vertical construction. We'll probably have to wait for more track to arrive, because these just seem like random pieces. But I cannot wait for this thing to go vertical. In other news today, SeaWorld Orlando have announced their brand new roller coaster Penguin Trek, which is opening in 2024. And I'm honestly just surprised by the speed that SeaWorld Orlando are building brand new roller coasters, and the fact that a lot of the recent ones have been B&M. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically SeaWorld Orlando is a theme park located in Orlando, Florida. It is home to some of the most iconic roller coasters on the planet, such as with the likes of Manta, Kraken, Mako. I mean, even some more recent ones like Icebreaker and Pipeline and Surf Coaster, which is their newest roller coaster. And obviously, since 2022, when they opened Icebreaker, they've been building a brand new roller coaster each season. The most recent one being Pipeline Surf Coaster, which opened in 2023 in May of this year. And even after that, there were further plans to build yet another brand new B&M roller coaster, which I believe is also going to be a launch coaster. This one's going to be more of a family coaster, by the way. I think with some dark ride sections mixed in. It was originally codenamed Project Toboggan, and tracks started arriving a few months ago. And recently, SeaWorld Orlando actually officially confirmed it's going to be a brand new B&M launch family coaster called Penguin Trek. It's the first of its kind, obviously. It's not it's not a surf coaster. It's not a stand-up launch coaster. It is a launch coaster, but it's more of a family layout. It's going to contain, I think, both indoor and outdoor sections, and as well as this, the ride vehicles. The ride vehicles are just like the most bizarre ride vehicles I've ever seen B&M build. I believe each ride vehicle It's only 1 car per train. Now, honestly, that just looks so weird. I could be wrong, but it looks like that on the concept art. Like 1 car per train. I don't know how many people it's. I think it's like 1 or 2 people per train. So it is quite a low capacity ride by the looks of it. Although hopefully they'll have quite a large number of trains to compensate. But overall, it does actually look like a pretty decent ride. It's obviously themed around penguins and Antarctica, things like that. There was even statements that it's going to have real penguin interactions on the ride itself. I'm not sure what that could possibly mean. Are they going to put real penguins around the ride area? Because if they were going to do real penguin interactions, they wouldn't just put animatronics there, or will they? Or will they put real live penguins? Now we don't know for sure. But either way, I'm so excited for this brand new ride to open, Penguin Trek at SeaWorld Orlando in 2024. Also in the news today, and this is obviously some very sad news for UK enthusiasts. Basically, Viking River Splash at Legoland Windsor has now officially closed forever. And honestly, it's just so devastating that this ride closed. I mean, it wasn't like the best ride in the UK. It wasn't the best water ride in the UK, but it wasn't like even the best ride at Legoland, but it was still really just a fun attraction. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically, Viking River Splash is an ABC Rapids ride that first opened in 2007 at Legoland Windsor in the UK. It's obviously in the Land of the Vikings area of the park. And its main draw is obviously is a water ride, so a lot of like the splash factor on it, and also it's got quite a bit of decent theming as well. Not loads of theming because there's some things to theming. There's like obviously loads of like different Lego sculptures that Legoland are obviously known for adding around their rides. There's quite a few like handmade sculptures of like dragons and things like that, and but obviously it's mainly just like in like a concrete patch of land, which is unusual for a rapids ride because it's mainly a lot of rapids rides are mainly built around to like interact with the terrain. Obviously this one's kind of built on the side of a hill, but it's still like surrounded by mainly concrete and occasional pieces of theming. But either way, it was still a decent ride, and obviously it's such a nostalgic ride for me actually, because I remember going on it many years ago before I was an enthusiast. When I was like only a small child visiting Legoland. It was such a fun ride, and it was honestly you got kind of drenched on it actually. Obviously over the past couple of seasons it's had some technical issues. It's been closed quite a lot because of mechanical breakdowns. And so obviously it's not exactly being looked after as good as it could have been. And obviously earlier this year, I think like last month, I think Legoland officially confirmed that they were closing Viking River Splash on the 25th of September, where they would have final rides on this attraction. They've not said anything about like if there's anything going to replace it or what. They just said it's closing forever and it's probably going to be permanently removed. Well, it must be anyway. They're not going to retheme it to something else. They're going to get rid of it permanently. Now, obviously, as for what could replace it, we don't even know at this point. Like, Legoland have already got quite a bit of investment going on in their park at the moment. They've got the Woodland Lodges, which are being installed. They've got the indoor golf course, which is opening later this season. And they've got the brand new Vekoma family dueling boomerang coaster. But either way, Viking River Splash at Legoland will be missed, and I'm so glad I got to ride it. And finally in the news today, Catapult Falls at SeaWorld San Antonio has been officially delayed until spring 2024. And obviously, this is obviously quite kind of bad for SeaWorld San Antonio, but hopefully this means that they can get things back on track with a new attraction. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically SeaWorld San Antonio is a theme park located in Texas, United States. It is owned by the same company that owns SeaWorld Orlando. The whole company that owns all the SeaWorld parks, plus the 2 Busch Gardens parks, are owned by this one company. It's SeaWorld Parks Resorts. So obviously that's why it's called SeaWorld. But the SeaWorld in Australia has nothing to do with the other SeaWorld parks, just pointing that out. Obviously they were scheduled to open a brand new, first of its kind log flume attraction, which, when was the last time any sort of theme park built like a log flume attraction. I can't think of any recent log flumes that have ever been installed. The only log flumes I can think of when it comes to mind, bear in mind I've been enthusiast in these sort of things, are like old ones from the 70s and 80s. I can't think of any new log flume attractions, although that might just be me. There might be quite a few actually. But point being, this brand new log flume is going to be built by Intamin. And what makes it unique from the other ones out there is it was going to feature an elevator lift, I believe, and also it was going to feature a launch as well. That would make it the world's first launched log flume, and honestly, that is just like, it's never been done before, and it sounds insane, to be honest. Like, how can you have a launched log flume? What would that mean? Like, would it mean that on the launch itself there'd be like splashes going up everywhere, or like what would it go into, like a hill followed by a drop? What could it mean? But either way, it sounds like a unique concept and very thrilling, to be honest. It was supposed to open earlier this year, and they'd even started building it. It went vertical and everything. But obviously, there was a recent announcement that it was going to be delayed until spring next year. Now, it's not actually clear what the reason the delay is. So we are not entirely sure why it's been delayed, but hopefully it might just be to do with like the construction, even though it's already been built, like the actual track and things like that. I'm not sure what the reason could be. It could be like a mechanical thing to do with a ride system that's preventing it from opening this season. I don't know. But hopefully, because of this delay, it shall open spring next year, and it looks like it's going to be a great ride. It's no roller coaster, but it just looks like a great attraction. And obviously, because it's in Texas, in the hot sun, it's gonna be brilliant for those hot days. You can just get wet on a ride like this, and I cannot wait for it to open. So yeah, that is it for this week's episode of Coast News. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you would like to see in the next video. Bye!